Okay, last week we dealt with the Metatherian and the Prototherian mammals. Well, this week we move on to the Eutherian, or we start with the Eutherian mammals, the infraclass Eutheria. And the first group of Eutherian mammals we deal with is really a grab bag of so-called insectivores, and we're actually going to touch on 6 different orders of mammals in this lab, spread across the world. The former Gondwana lands split apart here, and all the adaptive radiation of these different groups of mammals. And now we're going to be dealing with different clades of mammals as well. We're going to first deal with clade Afrotheria and the clade Euarchonta. You haven't dealt with these so far, but now we're going to start getting into it in the lab manual. And the clade Afrotheria includes the order Macroscelidea, which are the elephant shrews, but it also includes the order Tenrecoidea. So these are what we're going to deal with here. The Tenrecoidea has 3 families in it, and you'll hear more about some of these in the video, which is part of this lab. It's a Life of Mammals video. And you'll hear about the golden moles. Tenrecs too are a part of that from the island of Madagascar. But for the Afrotheria in this lab, the only specimen we have is an elephant shrew skull, or bone clone actually. And these are also called Singes. And the one we're dealing with here is Elephantulus rufescens. These are fascinating animals, and as you'll see from the video, these are saltatorial or jumping animals. They're diurnal too, which a lot of the jumping animals that you'll get to see, like kangaroo rats and jerboas and some of these others that have this convergent evolution happening with them, are nocturnal. These animals, which are characteristic of the African continent south of the Sahara, are diurnal. So we have this one skull here. It's a bone clone. And you can see when you take a look at it here, it's got a shrew-like skull. Well, insectivorous-like skull. It's a lot bigger and more robust than the typical shrew skull, as you'll see. You see all these teeth that are adapted for crunching up insects and invertebrates. It's got a long rostrum. Dog-like rostrum. They get the name elephant shrew because they have a fairly mobile snout. You'll see that in the video. The video has some excellent work by the BBC Natural History Unit to show them in real life. So they have a very distinctive skull, well-developed zygomatic arches, which you won't see in shrews. So they're called elephant shrews. Okay, let's take a look at the lower jaw as well. You can see that the lower jaw is fairly long and slender, again for slicing and dicing insects. All those multicuspid teeth. So this is the order Macroscelidea, family Macroscelidea, and the species Elephantulus rufescens. And this is the only taxon that you're asked to know from the clade Afrotheria. We're also going to look at the clade Uarconta, which has this Afrotheria, as I mentioned, is from the African continent and includes the tenrecs and the golden moles, which are also featured in the Life of Mammals video. But the Uarconta is a bigger clade here, and it features the tree shrews, the order Scandentia, which we'll just deal with right now. And it further includes the order Dermoptera, which are sometimes referred to as the flying lemurs, or more correctly referred to as colugos, and we'll get to those in a moment. But this clade also includes the primates, as you'll see. So there are three orders in the clade, the Uarconta: the primates, the tree shrews, and the colugos. The tree shrews in the order Scandentia and the colugos in the order Dermoptera, which we'll get to in a moment, are both found in Southeast Asia, whereas of course the primates are found, pretty much throughout the world, but especially in the Old World and in South and Central America. So let's take a look at the tree shrews first. Okay, so we're dealing here with the order Scandentia and the family Tupaiidae and the species Tupaia glis. And this is the one skull that we have. Again, it's a bone clone. Now, remember what we just looked at a moment ago in terms of the elephant shrew? There's some similarity in the structure of the skull here, but there's differences too, as you'll see. Morphologically, the animals look somewhat squirrel-like, tree shrews. They're arboreal animals, but the teeth don't look anything like what you would see in a squirrel. Of course, squirrels are rodents. If you look at these teeth, you'll see that they're for slicing and dicing up animal matter, insects, invertebrates, and so on. You can see the nature of these teeth here. They've got these caniniform incisors in the upper jaw, these large orbits for the eyes here. They're pointing more or less forward so that they can judge distances when they're jumping around in the branches. So they have binocular vision. So it's an elongate skull. So this is the tree shrew skull. Let's take another look at the lower jaw as well. This is the lower jaw. And again, those are not the sort of teeth that you'd see in a squirrel or a rodent. Again, this is more like an insectivorous animal. Teeth that you'd expect to see. Notice the way the lower incisors are pointing straight forward. It's kind of like what you saw in the diprotodont condition in some of the marsupials. But this is more like the pectinate condition that you're going to see in a moment in the colugo. Like pectinate is a comb-like condition. So this is the tree squirrel. Now I'm going to put the tree squirrel and the elephant shrew side by side so that you can see them together. So here you have it. The elephant shrew, Elephantulus rufescens, Macroscelidea on the left, and the tree shrew, Tupaia, Tupaid, two different orders from two different parts of the world. One is from South Africa, the other is from Southeast Asia, and Tupaia is on the right. Okay, let's take a look at the last family here now. These are the colugos. These are in the order Dermoptera, family Sinocephalidae. If you look at the name of that family, you might be able to figure out how it got its name and how it relates to the skull shape. Okay, Sino is related to dogs. Cephale is to do with head, so dog-like head. Okay, and the species name here is Cynocephalus volans. Volans means flying. So these are flying lemurs. Well, they're not flying, they're gliding. And they're not lemurs either. Lemurs are only found in Madagascar. These are from Southeast Asia. So they're somewhat look like lemurs, but have some appearances somewhat similar to lemurs, but they're not lemurs at all. They're in their own order, the Dermoptera here, where they're cladistically placed together with the tree shrews and the primates. And so these are fairly large gliding mammals of the forests of Southeast Asia, and a fairly large, robust skull. You notice that they have binocular vision here so that they can gauge distances when they're gliding between branches. They can glide considerable distances. And look at this large skull, large dog-like skull with well-developed canines. These are fruit eaters. You turn the skull upside down. Again, it's a bone clone, but you can see the teeth are designed for crunching fruit and other types of vegetation. So that's the upper skull of a colugo. Don't confuse it with a lemur or a carnivore. Those are not carnivore's teeth. Those are not the sort of teeth that you'll see in the order Carnivora. And there's an incredible giveaway on the lower jaw here. The lower jaw have type of teeth that are only found in colugos. You look at these teeth here, and let's see, it's got flattened teeth on the cheek teeth here that occlude with the upper jaw, and then it's got these premolar-like teeth here that are for slicing up material. But look at the incisors. Look at those comb-like incisors. Okay, that condition is called pectinate, or comb-like pectinate. I should write that down for you. Pectinate, pectinate, comb-like incisors. And they use that for scraping the food that they're eating. Those are not separate teeth. Each tooth is comb-like. And you don't see that condition in other mammals for the most part. Sometimes you'll see certain mammals with grooves in their teeth. Certain rodents and other species will have grooved teeth, but you don't see it as pronounced as you see here in the colugo. So those are two of the clades here of these insectivores and insectivore, omnivore like mammal groups that we wanted to talk about. Two clades, I beg your pardon, two clades and three orders. The Macroscelidea from Africa, the Scandentia, the tree shrews from Southeast Asia, and the Dermoptera, also from Southeast Asia. Now I'm going to end this video here, and then we're going to move on to a few other groups.